What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush, Let's Talk Jets. Hope everybody's having an excellent day. The weather in New Jersey has been great, but a lot of rain on the way, so looking forward to next week when it's going to be sunny and 80. OTAs are cruising along, and there's a lot of storylines out there, and I don't focus too much about on-the-field performance where it's T-shirt and shorts and not a lot going on. My on-the-field stuff is more in training camp, but to me, I'm really curious about how the coaching staff is handling the players, how the players are reacting to it, and the feedback we're receiving overall on the entire process and how the practices are being held. So when Aaron Glenn first took over, he talked about having a fast, physical, and smart team where attention to detail was paramount. That's how you clean up your culture, and that's how you clean up any confusion in the locker room. Like, clearly identify your roles and responsibilities. You know exactly what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it and when you're supposed to do it. If you do that, you'll play. If you don't do that, you better correct it or you're not going to play. So that was the mindset in his opening press conference. And now today we got a chance to hear from Steve Wilks, Tanner Engstrand, and Chris Banjo. And I walked away pretty impressed. Again, I understand it's only May, but they seem to have all a similar mindset. They seem all ultra competitive, a lot of energy. And I think they don't back down from the media. When the media tries to discount their resume or question some things, they come back with very well-spoken, intelligent answers, kind of not arrogant, but confident. Like, listen, we know what we're doing here. We have a plan. We have a blueprint. We have a long way to go. But, we're on the right path. So with Steve Wilks, he said a lot of really good things and, things that we already knew in terms of how his defense was or could be. But he also kind of commented something Aaron Glenn said earlier on too is don't pigeonhole this team into a certain type of defense. Right now, they're in the information collecting stage where you want to see what players are we inheriting, how do they fit, and what can they do? And then you build your defense around that. Like, they're not putting the cart before the horse. Like, even Aaron Glenn said that, where it's like, listen, these first couple stages, we're not talking about, opening day and training camp. We're talking like get in shape, understand what we want from you physically and mentally, and then we slowly progress into the playbook, the schemes, and everything else. Steve Wilks is all about that too. Excited about a lot of players, spoke about having a lot of talented guys. What I like most was he talked about how he could be an asset to Aaron Glenn off the field. And a lot of first-time head coaches talk about, the X's and O's they're cool with. It's all the extra stuff. Coordinating practices, the travel schedule, the paint schemes, all these different things can be overwhelming. And Steve Wilks said, I can be a guiding light there or a guy that can sit, hey, listen, man, I've been there, done that. Here's how I handle it. Or also when your team's facing a lot of adversity, especially in this media market, in this fan base where, maybe your vision isn't working as of yet. And how do you handle that pressure? Do you, stay true to yourself and everything else? So having that kind of veteran person on your staff is excellent. So that was encouraging from Wilks. Tanner Engstrand spoke today. It was my first time hearing him speak to the media. And he speaks like a future head coach, man. He comes off very intelligent, very articulate, very well thought out. And again, it's all about the details. And it's like, to me, it seems like they had a common message where it's like clear communication so everybody understands exactly what they're supposed to be doing. When you have that, there is no gray area. You know what you're supposed to do. This is how things are supposed to run. If it doesn't run, it's kind of on you. So Engstrand, he talked about Justin Fields, using his arm, using his legs, the versatility of Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. But he talked about a lot of things, and he just talked about having a fast offense, a smooth offense, and consistency, where that's a lot of things that were, in the past, the Jets struggle with consistency. You have, 2 great plays and 5 blown assignments, where you like to see them clear up all these communication issues. If you go back to basics and you start there and build your way up, a lot of times it pays big time dividends. And I know going back to the Parcells practices, he used to always do that. So Engstrand talked about details. Wilks talked about details. You go to Chris Banjo, same exact thing. He could see he's got a lot of energy, man. He's not far removed from playing the game himself, which gives him like a leg up on other coaches where he said, listen, I played this myself. I understand where you've been because I just did this a few years ago. So he sees his energy talking about the kicking competition. And it's so early where these coaches can't reveal a lot of stuff because they generally don't know. And I'm not going to give you some fluff. They're going to tell you the basics, what's going on, how they're handling it, and preaching competition at every position, which is the way it should be. I know that John Simpson's comments about Tippmann and Myers competing at center position, there should be competition all over the place. Like, there should be no stone unturned. If you're showing up day in and day out at practice and competing at your best level, you deserve to play. That's if you're showing that you're better than others and that guy is making more money than you, who cares? You should play. So they all spoke about competition, details, which I loved. They talked to Justin Fields today. He met the media, and he is so even-keeled, quiet leader, and he kept it real. He's like, listen, we have a long way to go. There's a lot to learn. You know, we have some good things, we have some bad things, but we're like a work in progress. It's May. They're probably all swimming right now in the playbook, trying to figure out what's going on. So you can't say, well, you know, he held the ball too long in practice today, and all like it is far too early for that. But I like his demeanor. I like his mindset. He talked about spending time with his teammates, offense and defense. They're playing golf, going to a golf simulator. They went to some crab place. Like, they're doing a lot of things off the field, and most importantly, they're doing it in silence. Like, we don't know anything about the Jets other than what we hear in the media. They're staying silent, and it's a kind of team that you want to root for. It's like a blue-collar team, no nonsense. You're going to get their best effort, and hopefully they come up big time on game day. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not focusing on all this stuff on the field right now because it is so early, and it's T-shirt and shorts. And as a person that's been to a million practices over the last decade, I used to get all excited on days like today going to practice. And then when training camp went on, the pads went on, you're like, where'd that guy go? He was, completely a different player. The intensity changes, the physicality changes. So we'll see what happens. All in all, though, cruising along. I'm enjoying this process, man. I like this young energy. I like a staff that is kind of demanding and wants to hold this team accountable. It seems like it's resonating on all the players where they all talk about Aaron Glenn. He's passionate, he's energetic, and he holds you accountable. Apparently yesterday they had a practice that wasn't up to standard, and after practice he let them know about it. I think Justin Fields said that Aaron Glenn is the realest head coach or realest coach he's ever had, where he's like, listen, he tells you exactly like it is, man to man, with no punches pulled. And you know what? I think that's the perfect mix for this team that has no leadership or guidance for the last few years, and they need a direction, and they need it fast because you want to compete this year. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.